Towards those 5 red lights for the Italian Grand Prix. This is full damage limitation today. We go to 5 red lights and we are off straight away up into second. Now third, little bit of a squirrel ahead. So has something gone wrong there? Oh God, something has gone wrong. Raikkonen is in the wall there and Vettel is spun. So Raikkonen is McLaren and we're in second place now as we go to 5 red lights for the Singapore Grand Prix. Now 4, now 5 for the Singapore Grand Prix and we are off there. And that causes a bit of another pile-up because Grosjean slams into the barrier. Then Perez, then another Manor. Just crazy stuff to witness here.
Round 15 of the Formula One World Championship, and it was the turn of arguably the most popular circuit on the calendar, Suzuka. Loved by fans and drivers, the famous figure-of-8 track drew a large crowd for Friday's first practice session.
Ricciardo's crashed the Red Bull, and he has hit the wall hard. Well, we didn't get much action this morning, but we're certainly seeing it now. Front left suspension is folded up, and suddenly Suzuka is biting back.
And when the session resumed, championship leader Lewis Hamilton laid down a marker of Mercedes' pace.
1:35.4 was the fastest this morning, and interestingly, it's the same time virtually, 1:35.432, fraction quicker than Rosberg went this morning.
With Hamilton and Rosberg over a second clear of the chasing pack, and looking like they've got more pace left in the tank for the rest of the weekend.
What's going on, guys? Over here. Welcome back to my F1 2015 career mode with Jenson Button. We're back with part number 10 today for the Japanese Grand Prix. If you guys missed part 9, that was only uploaded yesterday. That was at Italy and Singapore, a double-header episode last time out. So if you have missed that, this is your chance. Pause the video now, go check it out, part 9. But I must say, it's been amazing to see the support, the continued support for the career mode, guys. It's been absolutely awesome, so thank you very much for that. But yeah, we're here at Suzuka, and we're going straight into the qualifying session because, as you can see, if you look closely at the chassis of the car, you can see the rain is actually starting to drizzle down the car towards the cockpit of the driver, because it was actually starting to rain straight away as the session went live. So I thought I'd go straight out on the option tyres to try and set a lap time, and hopefully maybe that'll help us get up the grid, because if the AI take a bit too long to maybe go out and set their lap times, I thought maybe the rain might have helped me. But in the end, we only got one flying lap in. It started raining, so there was no point going out, so I only got one flying lap in. The AI pretty much only got one good flying lap in, and unfortunately that's only landed at 7th place. I say unfortunately, I mean that's still amazing for a McLaren Honda, but I would have maybe thought we could have maybe cracked the top 5, but the rain wasn't that much to really affect the AI, and I think they went out just after me. So unfortunately the strategy I went with didn't really pay off, but P7 is still pretty decent here at Suzuka. So we're going to go to the grid now for the Japanese Grand Prix. Let's see what we can do today. So here we are for a very overcast Suzuka circuit for the Japanese Grand Prix. Our teammate Fernando Alonso is lined up in 18th place ahead of the two Manor-Marussia cars. And here we are in 7th place, just ahead of the Brazilian of Felipe Massa, who will probably be a bother to us at the beginning of the race, seeing as we've never got a good start in this McLaren apart from Silverstone in the wet. Kimi Raikkonen there in pole position, doing well once more like the Italian Grand Prix, so he's been doing really well in qualifying. But as we're here on the grid, you can see very overcast conditions, possibly a chance of rain, and we could benefit from that. Hopefully we'll be benefiting from that. So let's go now to those 5 red lights for the Japanese Grand Prix, sticking down to lean mix to try and help the wheel spin. We got to 5 red lights and we are off straight away, and once more not getting the best of starts. We got a better start than we did in Singapore. Massa's overtaken us immediately, but into that first corner we should be able to try and get him back, as he's gone a little bit wide there, locking up, everyone locking up there actually, a lot of smoke coming off all the cars ahead. We've just managed to skate our way past into 7th place. You can see there on the chassis of my car, the rain is already coming down as we go through the S section, getting very, very close to the back of Bottas, and Bottas bangs tyres with Ricciardo, and that's unsettled his car, and we've gone down the inside of the right-hander there, and up into 6th place, just skating our way through as he got unsettled after a little contact with Ricciardo there. Very, very skatish at this first part of the Grand Prix, everyone tiptoeing around the circuit. It is definitely a little damp, a little slippery, you know, a little bit colder conditions. The track is very green at this point. But we have bigger problems as we come on to the end of lap 1. We've got Felipe Massa in our mirrors now. Here he comes on the left-hand side of the circuit with the slipstream, and he cleanly overtakes us for 6th place. We try to stick with him as much as we can through 130R down to the chicane, but I don't think it'll be any use. The rain is definitely coming down, so I'm really praying that I can try and use that wet period later on in the Grand Prix to my advantage. But as we exit that corner, the place obviously where we lost the win to Hamilton in Season 1 in the Ferrari, Bottas gains on us so much there on the traction and is able to pass us, but can we re-overtake him into turn 1? He locks up, goes right off the circuit actually, and we go right down the inside. Really, the AI aren't too amazing into turn 1 here this year, I found this game, so you can really gain some time with them in that corner. So we managed to re-overtake Bottas, but unfortunately you can see we're gaining on Massa through the S section, but it's just no use. He gets us later on through the Lesmos and then on the traction zone, especially out here through Spoon Corner, and you can see there in distance now on the end of lap 2, he's right off in the distance. But now we've got his teammate once more, Bottas, coming back at us for the 2nd time in this Grand Prix. This time he's going to try the exact same move his teammate did, but this time we go right down the inside in 130R, and that was a very slick move there. Into the chicane we go in 7th place, back into 7th place. We couldn't do it on Massa, but this time on his teammate, who was going a little bit slower, I think, we managed to re-overtake him in 130R. Will he come back at us? Yes, he will. So for the 2nd time down the pit straight he comes. We try to squeeze him onto the right-hand side. Are we going to try and get him down to the turn 1 once more? Yes, we can. He locks up again, goes cleanly off the circuit once more in the same exact place, and we have got him back for 7th place. But we're going to look at a replay now, guys, of the start and see what went on. So off that start, Kimi Raikkonen there on pole position gets a poor start. Looks like Hamilton, I think that is, jumps him for 1st place. So Hamilton at the moment leading the Grand Prix, and he just about gets ahead of him. But now as we look back onto where we are, we're just obviously squeezing out Massa there. We get a little bit wide as the track was a little bit damp, wasn't really ready for the grip level, so I went a little bit wide off circuit there. But then here you can see the contact made right there between Bottas and Ricciardo. I'm able to slip it down the inside here as Bottas gets very unsettled. So a little move there for what was 6th place at the moment. But then obviously we went down to 7th, and then we were defending 7th place on lap 2, and here was that move again on Bottas. We just slip it down the inside, and what a lovely little move that was. We can look at a little slow-mo here. So there Bottas comes. It looks like he doesn't have as much speed as Massa got on the previous lap, so we slip it down the inside, turn in early, and you can see how close that is. But very clean move. Both of us still on the circuit. We just slip it down the inside. He's running a little bit wide there, but he's still very much on circuit after the move is made. So a very nice clean move down the inside. Really nice to see through 130R. Nice racing there with Valtteri. But onto lap 3 now, the exact same place. You can see the rain's coming down even more now. You can see on the left front tyre, you can see the rain spots are starting to stay on the camera. But Bottas again is coming now on the right-hand side this time, so maybe a little bit trickier, and he's got a lot more speed than he had before. And no, we can't make the same exact move on 130R. He's got pretty much the same amount of speed his teammate had when he overtook me. We lock up horribly there on the right front. We're really closing up on Bottas, trying to see maybe if we can stick with him, but there, just off this corner, the traction just kicks in for that Williams. We aren't able to stay with him, even with DRS. Look, with DRS, we still even can't keep up with that Mercedes engine, and with DRS, we've got Grosjean now right behind us, sniffing up our backside. We close in on Bottas through turn 1, but we just can't catch him, and I'm just at this point in the Grand Prix, I was hoping that the rain would come down a little bit faster. Maybe we can go a little bit earlier onto the intermediates, and 2 laps later on to lap 5, that is exactly what I'm doing. I thought, you know what, we'll go for a little gamble. It's maybe not wet enough completely, but here's the hoping that by the time I come around the entire circuit, it might be wet enough. So we come in for the green wall intermediate tyres and just hope that the circuit gets damper and damper as I'm coming out of this pit lane, and hopefully I can gain some time on the AI, because generally it seems like the AI sometimes just play it very, very safe and completely drive to the cutoff point of the dry to wet conditions, whereas you can maybe take a gamble. I took a big gamble. I think we may have gone quite earlier than actually intended, and we have. As we cut onto lap 7, you can see the Manor car comes in. You can see on the mini-map everyone is in now, so I think we may have jumped the gun a little bit. 2 laps earlier, maybe it would have been more worth going 1 lap earlier, because 2 laps was maybe not the best thing. We've come out in 8th place at the moment. Valtteri Bottas there in 7th place, so we've come out where we were before the pit stop, so we haven't lost any time. If anything, we've gained a little bit on Bottas, because we're a bit closer than we were before, and we're trying to close up, but it just really wasn't any use in that first sector. Bottas eventually eventually, you know, his tyres come in and he just kept on going. But now we come to lap 11 and we've got some threat behind us as NASA goes straight past us with DRS as well. So the FIA thinking DRS is still safe here at Japan right now, but we swoop down the inside of turn 1, much like we did on Bottas twice in this Grand Prix so far, to get the place back from NASA. He tries to squeeze us in on that exit of turn 1, but we were having none of it. On to lap 14 now. Max Verstappen, the youngster in the Toro Rosso, comes up on our left, passes us with ease. We tried to come back at him at turn 1. Look how close we get there. Almost kind of tapped him on the rear there, but we just couldn't close off. I was so disappointed that we couldn't do the same exact move we did to NASA to get him back. So we've actually lost the place there and we're down to 9th, unfortunately, by lap 14. Now this is a very interesting part of the Grand Prix. The tyres weren't feeling too amazing, and Jeff, my engineer, was telling me that there wasn't going to be any more rain. You can see NASA has overtaken us there. Grosjean's now coming up on the left-hand side. It was getting very desperate as to what I was doing. You can see there, just before we got into the replay camera part of the Grand Prix, I put it onto prime tyres for the pit stops. I feel like we should make another gamble and go onto a set of dry tyres, because Jeff has told me the rain is going to dry out now. So it's only going to be a little sprinkle here for the intermediates, and we're going to come back onto the dry tyres eventually. So I thought, you know what, let's make a late call here. Let's go into the pit stops now. We've lost 2 places to NASA and Grosjean there at the end of the back, straight through 130R. So why not? Why not just take another gamble? We've already taken one gamble. It sort of didn't pay off, but we didn't lose any places. So let's make the same exact gamble again. Going a little bit earlier onto the prime tyres, you can see Grosjean's come in on the same pit stop lap. And you can see just there quickly, if you guys saw, he's actually in the intermediate. So at this point, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit worried that I may have made the wrong call yet again, because we've just come out on primes, and sorry, not Grosjean, it's Maldonado, my apologies. Maldonado up ahead is on intermediate. So I was worried that we might have made the wrong call, but a lap later onto lap 16, you can see we're in P10 now, so all the AI have just come in. You can see NASA right up ahead. He's just come out of the pit, so he's got very cold tyres, and I'm trying desperately to try and close up him. You can see the rear tyres on the right-hand side are quite cold, obviously, as it's still pretty damp here on this circuit. Even worse conditions than it was at the start of the Grand Prix. We're just tiptoeing round, but I'm gaining all this time on NASA. His tyres are even worse than mine, because he's just come out of the pit. All the AI pit, so I did lose a little bit of time to AI, but we're trying to make it work. We've gone down the inside of NASA, trying to go and squeeze him out, but we just lost the rear end. He comes back at us, and NASA has got back into 9th place. We're back down to 10th. Perez behind us, who's not too far off us, so we're going to have to be wary of that. The Force India, obviously good pace round here at Japan with that Mercedes engine working well down the back straight, but through Spoon Corner, you can see NASA losing the back end a little bit. We really gain on the curbs there on the left-hander of the exit of Spoon, and now we're in the slipstream of Felipe Nasr. Can we try and slipstream him? Come on, Honda engine, up into standard to make sure the temperature doesn't skyrocket too much and it doesn't go red. But we drop it down 1 gear through 130R, go down the inside of Felipe Nasr, who's understeering off circuit. He doesn't completely go off circuit, but he was understeering quite a bit through there. I suspect he was staying in 8th gear, but I went down to 7th to get a bit of a better return in. It has worked for us. We're up to 9th place. Good pace so far on lap 16. Now on to lap 21 now. The track, you can see, is completely dried up now. Very sunny here in Suzuka now. Nice change of pace from the start of the race, and with DRS, look how fast we're going past the Toro Rosso. I was very satisfied with this. Easy move. We're on the Toro Rosso of Max Verstappen, and we've got him back. A little bit of payback because he got past us pretty easily in the wet period early on in the Grand Prix. That was very satisfying to come back at him the same sort of easy way with DRS there on lap 22, I should say, for P8. So up into 8th place. We come through on lap 27. Nico Rosberg has won the Grand Prix, so Rosberg really doing the job in this championship so far this season against his team at Hamilton. But we come through for 8th place. Very hard-earned 8th place there at the end to overtake NASA and Max Verstappen, and that is going to be a solid points-paying position in Japan. It could have been worse, you know, especially with the rain period, the gambles we were taking. So at the end of the day, I'm still pretty happy with 8th place there. So that's another 4 points in the bag for the championship, but going through the race results, Nico Rosberg wins the race, as I said. Sebastian Vettel in 2nd and Hamilton down to 3rd. So very surprising, as Hamilton was leading the race into turn 1 we saw on the replay before. Raikkonen off pole position drops down to 4th, so disappointing race for him. But yeah, 4 points for us. Our teammate nowhere to be seen. Once more, another great solid result for us here in Japan. Especially in Japan, it's a very tricky circuit on this year's game. You really have to get to grips with it. And with the McLaren, you know, with with so much understeer because I'm having to drop the wings down to make sure the speed is not too bad through down the back straight. It was a very tricky Grand Prix. Not going to lie, it did feel actually quite awful at some parts of the race to drive it, but we managed to struggle through, and we're still in 5th place in the Drivers' Championship ahead of Felipe Massa, and I'm feeling confident that we can stay in 5th in the Drivers, and in the Constructors, thankfully, we're still in 4th ahead of Red Bull, so that's pretty damn awesome to see. We're still in the top 4th for the Constructors. But guys, if you have enjoyed that Japanese Grand Prix, then smash that like button, guys. It'd be absolutely awesome if we can try and hit over 1,500 likes on this episode, guys. If you liked anything about that episode particularly, comment below and tell me what the best part of it was for you. Subscribe when you're around here for daily Formula 1 content. I've been aarava. Thank you guys so much so far once more for the support, continuing support on Season 2. It's rapidly coming to an end, and it should get pretty tasty if we can try and keep 4th in the Constructors. I think that's going to be my new goal. We've already passed 100 points in the Drivers, so I think this is going to be my new goal, to try and stay in 4th in Constructors. It's going to be tough. Let's see what we can do later on in the next few episodes. But yeah, I've been aarava. Have enjoyed the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next time.